Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The First Watch. We are well over halfway through kind of our very first season arc. We'll see where we land here. And the plot is getting as thick as a bowl of oatmeal. It is super fun. I am Andrew Coons. I'm the Dungeon Master for our adventures, and I'm going to popcorn it for introductions. We're going to start with KC.
Yo, what's up, guys? I am Casey. I am playing Uranus, the half-bard elf. You can find me on Twitter at Casey McNeil and on Instagram at _Casey McNeil. Just the letters KC, not CASEY, although nothing against those people. I'm going to popcorn it to Darby.
Hi, my name is Darby. You can find me on the internet as Chaotic Darby, and I will be playing Peony, your wonderful artificer, and only an artificer. She's definitely not anything else. We both use she, her pronouns. And I'll popcorn it to Cheryl.
Clutch. Hi, I'm Cheryl. I use she, her pronouns, as does my character Pry, the tiefling rogue. And you can find me on the internet variously as the roving naturalist and the Nature Check D&D project. And I will popcorn it to Dana.
Oh yeah, that's me. Hi, so I'm Dana. I'll be playing the Asamara wizard Artemis Valor. You can find me on Twitter at a bit meddlesome, and that'll bring us to Blake.
Hello, everybody. I'm playing Grokus Darkbringer, playing a dwarf cleric. Almost forgot my character's name for a second. Wow, that's terrible.
It's been a couple weeks since we've played, so yeah. Casey also got his class and race wrong, so there you go. You said half bard elf.
Oh my god.
Probably half a bard. Ooh, there we got some new thing.
He is a multi-class.
He is multi-class, so that's fair.
I am now.
He's just super classy, you know?
Yeah, D&D 6 edition right there. You know, we're gonna have like part classes. You can find me on Twitter at Blake C. Francis, and yeah, it's been too long, so happy to get back into this.
I do kind of like the idea of half classes, almost like somewhere in between some of the feats that you can take where you get to dip into class features and an actual multi-class. Like, that'd be kind of a cool idea.
Yeah,
It's
it'll be
my
like
idea.
Gestalting, that was
You
a
heard it
thing
from
in
here
previous
first.
versions.
It'll be like
Yeah.
it'll be called a 6 inches because like half a feet.
Yeah, no, that was a thing you could do. It was like a variant in previous versions that you could do, like a gestalt, however you pronounce
I'm pretty
that.
sure I thought this idea right now. Chris is all my idea. So,
Yes.
you know,
Well,
I'm pretty
yes,
sure.
So sorry.
100% Blake.
Gestalt
Yep.
is a gnome that runs a tavern in
Yes,
the
I
lower
know.
level of Floros. So,
Yeah.
No, that's Kingsley.
all right. Well, as we come to the end of our introductions and our inside jokes, let's go ahead and jump into the next episode of The First Watch. Intro sequence. Down deep into the Dwarven mine outside of Floros, the party delved. You went down the vertical mine shaft that was very large and very, very deep with all of these offshoots with various tunnels and rooms off of it. being led by your newly acquired NPC guide, Greta the Grung, who after kind of giving you some information, reluctantly agreed to join you as long as you paid her handsomely in the process. So you kind of talked your way past the miners and the guards, such as they were, and found yourself headed down the mine shaft, where you found multiple old rooms from this dwarven kind of excursion. You found a barracks with journals and personal effects for various dwarves long gone. You found a tunnel that was full of raw diamonds and were able to cut off a few of them yourself. And then something found you, as two large creatures came barreling down the tunnel full of teeth and tentacles and intent on eating all of you. The fight ended up happening mostly in the air because you all went down a large, like 100-foot shaft, where the kind of, as part of the offshoots, not the main one. But in the process of falling, we're able to cast a variety of spells that shredded them to pieces as they were going down. The last one falling barely with enough life as it hit the ground, and that was quickly extinguished by Prize Blade. The two large creatures behind you, you did notice one thing on them that was of note, in that there was a mark on the back foot, almost like kind of a cut from like a tight collar or shackle. But you continued on deeper and deeper into the tunnel network. Eventually, you found large storerooms with big wooden chests along the edge that had various bits of tools and weaponry. Excuse me. And you found another body. Only saw it from a distance, but another body of one of these large creatures. Upon inspecting it from a distance, you could not 100% ascertain whether or not it was alive. It did not seem to be moving. However, you were able to skirt by it into another room where you saw it was a bit of a dead end, but there were these trapdoors up above you. So, through some creative use of your magical items and different abilities, you were able to reach the trapdoors up above you, unlock them, and that led to another 30-foot tunnel up, much tighter than some of the other ones you had, almost like a chute. Pry and Artemis, on Artemis's broom, kind of hanging from it in order to fit up here, were able to get up the tunnel shaft and eventually come out into the next open room, which was incredibly large, dimly lit by these glowing orange crystals that were set into the walls, almost acting like lamps or lanterns all the way around. But as you surveyed the space in front of you, this large hall-like area, you saw rows and rows of machinery. Cold, dusty, but at first glance, very obviously some sort of dwarven factory, forge, some sort of machinations. You saw gears and pistons. You saw troughs where water would have been at one point. And around everywhere, you also see, just in the dim light, everything is much more carved out. Like the tunnels that you've been in have been carved and set in these kind of squares, but they've not been decorated in any way. They've been very smooth and just kind of like, chunks along the way. This has decorations on the walls, simple lines and runes and kind of geometric shapes carved in, but the flooring has kind of like channels and divots along it that form patterns. This is a much more permanent place than the tunnels you've been in previously. So, Artemis and Pry above, everyone else, including Malachite, who we are unfortunately not joined by Joe Frank tonight, but I will be running him for any roles that need to be done. Yeah, you all now have a moment. What do you do?
What do you see up there?
Hard to describe. You read about things like this, but I never thought I'd lay my eyes on it.
While they're talking, could I really quickly grab a shield from one of the crates, a pickaxe, and I think you said there were jeweler's tools?
There were, yes.
Could I grab some of those too?
You can do so.
Sweet.
I think Malachite has some too.
I
That's what
think
Julie
we were
says.
we were
Okay,
just
good.
piling also like a crap ton of the stuff into like our bags of holding.
Yeah.
So
Like,
Yeah, none of it is magical that you can tell. Most of it is very simple. However, it's all very well made and for the most part very well maintained over time.
Doesn't have to be
Speaking of
magical
which,
to be
I'll
sellable.
ritual cast detect magic too. Since we had time down there while they were up exploring, so ritual cast to detect magic while we're down there.
Okay. I would say that depending on when you started, you may not be done with your ritual quite yet in this moment.
Okay.
Because it didn't take them very long to get up top.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
At all. Yeah, I mean, it's a tight fit, but it's only 30 feet, so it's like, 10 seconds to get up there.
Do you want to bring the rest of them up here?
Yes, absolutely. Are you going to be okay up here?
Yes, I am going to flatten myself against the wall and just wait.
I think that's a wise decision.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to head back down and start bringing everybody up.
Yeah, and I do that. I just like scoot out of the way of the opening and just like.
Okay. Are you
Nobody
putting
here.
yourself in such a position where you can still see very well, or are you just kind of like tucking and hiding somewhere?
Yeah, I still want to have like a visual. This is a big room with a lot of
It is.
stuff in it, and like there could be anything or anyone behind lots of stuff. So yeah, I still want to be able to like see what's going on. And I'm not
Alright.
going very far away from this
Sure.
opening to this 30-foot shaft either. Like
Sure.
yeah.
Go ahead
Hanging
and
out
roll a
close.
stealth check for me then.
Oh good.
Oh, God.
That worked out well last time.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
No.
Yeah, okay, all right. 19.
19. Okay,
Yeah.
good to know.
Nothing bad is ever going to happen to us.
Again.
Why would you speak it into
anymore?
Because I welcome chaos. Throw anything at me.
No, we're a group
Okay.
of balance. No
Okay.
chaos here.
Oh, God.
I've changed
Chaos is balanced to order.
my coat's inside out. It's black on the outside now.
Gotcha. You are the knight.
I am
All
the
right.
knight.
Artemis, who are you grabbing first?
I think I'm going to take Grokus first, actually, because I think he needs to see this.
Okay.
All right. I mean, okay. Is it something bad? Is this all
It's
right?
not anything bad. I think it's something you deserve to see. And I'm just
Alright.
going to take
So I
him.
hop on. Imagine when Grokus hops on, like it kind of dips down a little bit because Grokus' weight just kind of goes down. Like
Yeah, the room just kind of a little bit.
the
It
match
starts
is kinda
like
wearing out a little bit,
putzing
so-
smoke out the back just a little bit, like.
I'm gonna start that diet, okay? I told you I've been working on it, so
More salads, perhaps?
they're so leafy though. Yes, I mean it's more of a balanced diet, so yes, you're right. I will.
Balanced diet. Oh my god.
So I take him all the way back up.
Okay. While Artemis is gone, Pry, and you are plastered against the wall, it's not a very long time. It's 30 seconds for her to go down, get him, and bring him back up. But in that 30 seconds, you hear an echo of a noise from deeper in the room. It sounds, to the best of your ability to kind of sense, almost like a door, like that. And then you just hear these very
Oh my
distant.
God.
You hear these very distant, like just tiny footsteps.
What if it's Greta? What if it's Greta?
I think it's Greta.
But about this time, coming up, kind of rising up out of the shaft, you see Grokus and Artemis on the broom. And Grokus, as you come into this space, you've seen ruins, you've seen old drawings, you have memories of what some of the halls of the Dwarven structures were like before everyone disappeared. This is like having a memory that was a low resolution suddenly snap into full HD. It jolts you and leaves you a little reeling from how vivid it feels and how surreal that vividness is. This is a full Dwarven forge. Bigger than anything you've ever seen, but the designs and the machinery and the bones of it are there. You have a very brief memory of your mother walking you through dark hallways when you were just a very wee dwarf with only a little bit of chin hair, and kind of showing you where your father worked before passing on to the next place.
So yeah, so he'll be taken back. So he's just kind of, he almost stumbles backwards, doesn't. He goes to talk and kind of a whole bunch of false starts, and knowing what exactly to say, and then just
It's a hand on the shoulder.
putting it on top of it. And then I'm gonna walk towards the forge. I was gonna walk.
I'm going to stick a hand out and put it on his shoulder and be like,
What's going on?
I know this is very important to you, but please just wait for everyone else. I heard something. There is someone else in here.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
gonna go
yes.
grab the rest of the group
Yes, please.
very quickly. Going back down.
All right, who do you grab next?
You can try to take. Can you take Malachite and Peony at the same time?
Slowly,
peonies
and it's
small.
gonna be the hardest part is really the fact that you almost have to like make the broom vertical and like have people grab onto it. So like 3 people doing that, like yes, it's gonna move slowly, but also like they may not have room to stack like that.
Can Peony just try and... How wide is this tunnel? Can she just try and like acrobatics climb her way up?
Kind of shimmy your way up. I mean, it's probably, I mean, it's not very big. You're, you know, a halfling, so maybe like back to it, feet pressed against it, kind of walk your way up.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you want a rope, I can toss a rope over the side too.
Rope, 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 rope,
I'll
rope,
throw my favorite rope over the side.
rope, 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 rope.
Shh.
Yeah, it's slower going than if you were to go on the broom. And you do hog the whole space, so now everybody has to wait for you to get up. But yes, you can
Can I
climb
just
up the
like,
rope.
as she grabs the rope, just like
She's
lift her
so
butt
small.
cup out?
That helps.
Like she's
yeah.
small and I'm strong, so
Between the two of you,
Oh.
it's kind of, you know, it's almost like what is that? Like when you get on those walking sidewalks or moving sidewalks at the airport, and all of a sudden you're like it's like minimal effort, but you're like going a lot faster. That's kind of the feeling of both of you going at the same time.
okay.
But yes, you're able to pop her up and out.
Okay, I'm gonna take Uranus next.
Well, as
You can-
Peony comes out,
Oh.
all of you suddenly hear a clang of something hitting the floor.
Oh.
Can I make a perception check?
Yes. In fact, I would say you don't even need to make a check, because you
Oh.
all look in the direction of the clang, and standing probably 40 feet from you, wide-eyed,
Is Greta.
these with these big eyes where you can see the whites, and you can see them extra in the dark because the face is just covered in soot, and just like dirty, and like these blue eyes that like stand out in the darkness, is a very small halfling boy wearing simple clothes and a little cap, dirty all the way down his arms and hands. His hair that's kind of sticking out from beneath it is kind of matted and greasy. And he looks to be probably no more than maybe 9 or 10 years old.
Oh,
And there was a
hi.
little, he's holding a handful of like what looked to be some sort of tools, and one of them has dropped, and he is just staring at all of you, just,
Hi. Are you?
Pa?
Well,
Ah! And he begins to like back up and like sort of like skitter back and run away from you
you're
all.
okay. It's fine. We're fine. We're friends. We're friendly. Can I talk to him in halfling?
You can, yeah. You can make a persuasion check to see if he'll stick around.
Yeah. Just to like breathe. We're not gonna hurt this child. Did they employ child labor?
Can I give give them help, because he'll definitely be trying to look as even though he's kind of shell shocked, trying to look as violent, I guess, as he could. So
Yeah. Yeah. I would say, go ahead and roll. What do you? I mean, other than just looking non-threatening, are you doing anything to help convince the
lad? We mean no harm. We're only here just to bring balance. We promise you hands up, empties.
Okay. Go ahead and roll with advantage then, Peony.
Okay. First roll was a 15 for a total of 16. Second roll was not good. It was an 8, so we're going with a 16.
16.
Talking in halfling to this young little child.
Okay.
Please don't be afraid of us strangers.
He continues to back up, but instead of like turning and bolting, he's still looking at you all and just, Paul, there's people here. And you hear.
Do I hear any response?
You hear another like of what sounds like a door, and then not super heavy footsteps, but a little bit bigger and heavier than the ones you had heard before, Pry. And coming out of kind of the dim light in the darkness, kind of at a half jog, you see a halfling man who looks almost equally as dirty. He's kind of balding up top with a very, very deeply, receded hairline, and like the grime is all the way up all over the top of his forehead. And he's wearing an apron, what looks to be like a mechanic's apron, or perhaps a blacksmith apron. He's got his sleeves rolled up, and he's got kind of that, like, worked with his hands all his life build to him, like very thick arms and muscular fingers. And he comes running up behind, and he just grabs the boy by the shoulders and pulls him close. And he's like, we're not supposed to be hearing from you all for another week. We need that time to figure things out.
I think you misunderstand. If you think we work for someone, we don't work for someone.
You hear them talking downstairs?
Yeah.
You would probably hear voices at this point. Yeah, kind of echoing down. So it'd be you and Malachite down below.
Yeah. Is Artemis down below too? Because she was coming to get. Yeah, I just say, Artemis, take Malachite up there. I'll be up in a second. I have an idea.
Okay. So Malachite straight up.
Okay, he grabs the broom and
I'm gonna run and see if the creature has moved at all.
Okay.
From the noise. So yeah, I'd like to just peek my head and see if
I go ahead and make a perception check at disadvantage. You are still exhausted.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh good. I have inspiration though, so we'll see.
You.
That's a 17 and a 9, so what is my perception? It is +5, so 14.
14? The creature has not stirred.
Okay. And then I'm gonna run back. I'm gonna get under the hole. I'm gonna plop the cone of slimming on my head, and then I'm gonna try to use Mage Hand to like pinch the back of myself.
That's why you asked me how heavy you are.
Yes, bro.
That
is. Oh my gosh!
Unbelievable.
Wow. Wow.
Hell yes.
So good.
Okay.
Big braining. Your brain is so wrinkled right now. So wrinkled.
It is, because he's like all flat and papery.
I thought of it while I was climbing. I was like, I could do this easier.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, use that magic, baby.
You marionette yourself.
That's weird.
It's so awesome.
You're kind of flopping a little bit, and like
exactly
as you go.
We mean no harm.
Yes.
This is gonna be real fun to see what happens when you all come out. In the meantime, Artemis and Malachite pop up out of the hole, and you all see the man and the boy visibly flinch, and he kind of pulls him tighter towards. He's like, usually there's only a couple of you. What's going on?
No, hearing from who? From who?
Oh,
The Blades people?
Are you not the Three Blades?
No, they don't like us very much, honestly.
You need to leave. You need to get out of here.
Oh, why?
Cause they could be. Sometimes they pop in unannounced. You can't be here.
You working?
He kind of looks at you, Pry, like directly. He's like, you cannot be here. My son's safety is at stake. You cannot be here.
Well, can we help you?
And all of a sudden you hear heavier footsteps coming. As you see,
Oh,
as you see a third
It's like
person.
a Russian nesting doll of
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
coming out from behind this door.
You see a third person running out of the darkness. This one much taller, long ears, thin features, full irised eyes, as you see a full-blooded elf. Also very dirty, although it looks like he's tried to kind of clean himself recently, and kind of run out. He's like, Clarence, what's going on?
Oh, goodness.
We're
Hello.
here exploring, and we stumbled upon whatever this is you are doing.
We were supposed to have another week, Clarence. They say they're not from the Three
Hey,
Blades.
Nat, we don't work for
We're not-
anybody. We're agents of freedom and like super cool. And we we'll run around and do stuff like people in stories and plays and stuff like that.
Yes,
And
Well, I don't know about that, but
well, I used to explore the
At this
rooms near my
point-
home.
At this point, Uranus comes floating up.
no. Wait, there's enough of us like standing in front of the opening. Can we not have
You're not actively trying to hide him, though.
Okay.
That's true.
The boy screams and hides behind his dad's leg.
Oh boy.
oh no.
Rude. He just looks like that.
What's going on?
Bryce smacks the cone off the top of his head.
Yeah, the mage hand immediately drops you because now you're too heavy.
There is a frightened child. You all need to calm down.
My
We
bad.
are-
I didn't know. Hi, I'm Uranus. Who are they? What's going on here?
Clarence and friends?
If you're not from the Three Blades, what in the God's name are you doing here? How did you get
We're
down here?
Exploring.
We brought a friend whose people used to be in this space. They wanted to look around and
Explore and
And they let you in here.
kind of got let in. We
We were allowed in.
kind of. We went farther than they told us we could, but whatever.
Are those your pets
Oh yeah,
downstairs? The big creatures?
Did you got past them?
we killed them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're dead.
You killed them.
Hey.
Oh, that's
Wasn't too
excellent
hard
news.
either.
Was that bad?
Depends on who you ask, I suppose, but we had no love for those things.
If
good.
it's good for you, then it's great on our end.
Mhm.
The elf gentleman steps forward and he's like, now hold on, everyone. What is... We need explanations here. We need to know what's going on. This is highly irregular, and quite frankly, if you were to be found down here, if we were to be found talking to you, well, I'd start to lose fingers faster than you can imagine.
Do your fingers pop off?
When a blade is applied to them, yes, my friend.
Listen, our
What
friend
else?
here is a dwarf.
Can I look at the? Can I
Yeah.
look at the forge, please? I just want to look at it. Then.
Oh no, hold
I'll
on.
leave.
That's our purview. We don't know who you are.
Is it your
He's a dwarf.
He's wrong?
These are his-
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
You're kidding.
I
Come on,
don't
look at
know.
that beard.
Right?
Look at that beard. The thickness, that's a dwarf.
It's a very nice beard, but
Can you just
who are you?
explain to us?
People.
Group of friends. We have a bunch of names if you want us to list all of them. But we
Yes!
don't have a.
The balancers.
Sure.
Or,
I say grow because I start walking towards it.
yeah.
So
He kind of looks exasperated back at the halfling man who's just kind of continuing to hold his son and just look at you all very like he's just tense and on edge.
Okay. Do you stay? Do you work here because you want to work here, or are they forcing you to work here?
Yes. What are they doing to you?
I know you have no reason to trust us,
I
but
have none.
we're good people. I promise you.
I
Didn't
mean, if
we-
it helps, we fought them a little while ago.
We've done you a favor.
Didn't we remove
yeah, we-
some of them from this plane of existence?
We
This
did.
is Darby. This is Darby talking.
Oh no, we did not.
Oh,
we did not.
We didn't
No.
kill anyone.
Wait, no. Did one
killed
die
a
that
couple
Crocus
of
didn't
them.
get to?
Yeah,
Okay.
killed a
yeah,
couple
yeah,
of the
yeah.
lower
Right.
I
levels.
for sure killed one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But I almost died, so it works out. It was all balance.
Which one did you kill?
Got
Oh,
a
We made
name?
the Minotaur go for a swim.
Uh-huh.
There was-
The ones we killed were grunts, I think.
Gnome
but
with the
we-
blue hair, I
Yeah.
think.
No, that one is
Also-
still
I don't
alive.
know
No, that
that
one's
one.
still alive.
Did you kill
Something with a
Elixio?
G?
Who?
Bill who?
who?
Elixio. Did you kill him?
No.
DM, did
I
we
don't
kill
know.
Lexia?
I don't think we've heard that.
No,
Oh.
I don't think
Why
we
you
have.
wiggle your
That
eye?
name.
We have? Okay.
Heard
This is
it
what I get for
once.
not taking notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember this one.
Hey, how do I
Uh,
spell that name? How do I spell that name?
Elixio.
E-L.
Elixir, but
M-O-U-S-E.
Okay, you know what? I spell like crap, so why don't we just scroll?
We didn't really have time to ask for names. No, it kind of just
They were trying to kill us.
evolved quickly. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Grokus, while this conversation is happening, you head over to one of the nearest machines and begin looking it over. It's a long, low table that has almost like vices that kind of move in and out from the outside, and you kind of get like you're not sure exactly the purpose of this, but it seems to adjust in places all the way along the table in order to hold things of various thicknesses. And they're kind of on these like screws, these vices.
It is a remind me of what my father used to work on a little bit. Is that
Roll a history check for that, because you're kind of digging deep into your memory.
Let's see. I think it's not bad. So 15.
A 15. You were very young. You weren't allowed into the forges. You didn't see a ton of exactly what your father did or what he worked on. That being said, kind of looking at this, I mean, it would kind of just doing some general extrapolation, like it's you could imagine, okay, is this maybe where things were hammered out? Is this kind of almost like, or was this a workbench where things could be kind of held and then tinkered on, or whatnot, all the way down? There's almost like you could almost imagine multiple stations with dwarves lined all the way along, each one with one of these vices.
And as I kind of see that in my mind's eye, like I just kind of put a hand on it, and as a couple of tears kind of rolled down, just looking at it, just kind of thinking about the memory. So yeah, it's kind of just holding himself up on it, just try not to sniffle, but yeah. So I think it's having a little moment.
Back with everyone else. So the name Elixio was one of the names you had heard in the encounter with Gormer.
Gormer,
And
that's
it was the name of one of the other lieutenants.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yes,
So it was a
yes, yes.
threat. It wasn't someone who was present.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have that in my notes. Whoops.
Okay.
I figured you might.
Well,
We
in
fought
that case,
Gormer?
no. Yes, we fought Gormer.
You fought Gormer.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I've heard of her.
Daisy May was our friend.
I don't know anyone by that name.
Can I take off my swords and lay them on the ground?
Yeah.
And just say, listen, is there somewhere we can talk? I'll leave my stuff here. We're not a threat. We want to figure out what you guys are doing here as much as you want to figure out what we're doing here. We didn't think anybody would be down here.
You'll need to forgive me. It's we haven't seen anybody other than the people who come to check on us and check for our progress. Well, it's been
Progress?
months now. So
Progress for what?
You've been in here for months?
What are they making you do?
and the elf kind of looks at him like, Clarence, I don't know about this. He's like, oh, they're good. They seem like normal people. Look, my name is Clarence Hillfoot. This is my son, Hugh. And he kind of looks towards the elf and is like, fine, I am Dr. Ulrich Anderson.
Doctor.
Now we've given you our names. Can we get yours? Or should we just call you Balancers? Just hello, balancer 1, balancer 2, balancer 3.
I'm
My
trying.
name is
Crocus said his name as he walked towards it. He said his name as he before he
Okay.
went over. So
Peony, and this is Petal, and just have Petal just.
Oh, goodness. And you see the elf pull out like a little monocle, kind of look at it like, that's fascinating.
Yeah, I cast Find Familiar, and I found her.
Interesting.
I'm Uranus. This is Malachite.
I'm Artemis.
I'm trying. Does the elf's name sound familiar, like an author of a book or a person who would have visited the university
yeah,
or
can I
something?
roll for that?
You can roll a history check on that.
Yeah, I was disadvantage. Advantage because I'm an elf, half elf.
Nope.
Oh no! Well, you better roll better than I did.
That's a 7 and a 3. So
Oh, I rolled a 2
What?
plus 3 is 5.
What are we rolling?
yeah, that's
History to see if we recognize the elf's name,
a 3.
since he's an
I-
academic of some kind.
I
I don't know. Well,
Peony, there's no way.
no way. I was like, is it possible if he's like an artificery sort of person? Maybe she heard the name while in the
If
fairs,
you get a
but-
natural 20, we'll see.
Do it. Fuck it. Why not? What's the worst that
Take
can
it.
happen?
Take it.
I'm gonna
Here it comes.
try.
On
That
command.
didn't get in the thing. Get in the thing.
It was not.
What did I say?
No, it
I said
wasn't.
here it comes.
no, take a
No,
picture.
wasn't.
Take a
No.
picture. No.
No,
Take a
don't
picture
believe
of that
it.
Take a
ship.
picture.
Take a picture.
No. Oh my god.
No, you
Saw it
don't.
coming.
He's
You
so
said it.
nice.
You said it.
Squat. You know.
Discord.
Oh
You
my
said
god.
it, and it happens. I told you. Don't say it unless you mean it, friend.
How am I
No
supposed to make
way.
that make sense?
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
You are insane.
Hell
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
You are insane.
Yo.
Yes.
All right.
Yo,
All right.
that's-
All right. Hold on. Watch me do some mental gymnastics here. Okay. So in the Axe and Head Woods, where there was the Artificer Convention, one year, you did not meet this person or see this person, but you very briefly remember the name Dr. Enerson as like a passing thing. Like the only reason in this moment you're able to recall it is because of just digging deep into your memory and going, I feel like I heard that name once before. You
Do
don't
I
know what
remember
he
it?
studies. You don't know why he was mentioned. It's just one of those like, I've heard that name once years ago.
I think someone talked about you once at the convention at Accent Headwoods.
I've never been out that way. It's fascinating.
What are you
Ah.
oh,
Biology.
biology. Interesting.
Specifically that of creatures and magical beasts and whatnot. Although I've been dabbling in ecology lately and a little bit of psychology when I have some spare time.
Were
And
you
you,
studying those things down the shaft?
No, I don't know what in the God's name those things were.
Okay.
So you are-
Aberrations to nature.
You are up here, covered in soot, for months doing studies of animals.
Yes, you see how it makes no sense. That's what
So
I
you are
told them
not-
when they grabbed me and put me down here. I'm a doctor of
Oh.
living things,
Oh.
not of
Oh.
machines. But they hear the word doctor and they go, oh, he must be smart enough to make anything work. That's not how it works.
Oh.
I
So
like
then,
this.
what are you working on that's not working?
Clarence. Well, like I said, my name is Clarence. I'm a blacksmith by trade. And we got into a little bit of trouble. I fell behind on some payments, and next thing I know, the Three Blades has me bent over a barrel doing favors for them, and one thing leads to another, and well, I get woken up in the middle of the night and told that I need to go someplace. And they start grabbing me, and well, it's not the best situation. I regret the decision that I made in the moment, but in the moment I couldn't stand to think of what would happen if my boy wasn't with me. So I told him Hugh was essential in my work and grabbed him, and we got thrown down here as well. They want us to figure out what these things do. And while I certainly understand the basics of how items are forged, these machines are beyond anything. I work in a small forge by myself with just Hugh helping me sometimes. This is production on a scale of anything unlike anything I've ever seen. And well, with 2 months down here putting our heads together, we haven't even been able to turn the damn things on.
Did you find a book or anything, or is there any writing here?
There's writing.
Can
Neither
I
of
see
us
it?
speak Dwarvish.
I can't speak, but I can read.
You can.
Luckily,
So can Grokus.
oh,
Yeah.
That's awfully convenient.
Yeah, I found an ABCs of Dwarvish, and or it's not ABCs, but it's things.
Grover's gonna walk back over, kind of rubbing his nose, to like rubbing his face a little bit before he goes back. I can read Dwarvish. I assure you, I'm a full dwarf. I mean, I don't know how else I can really prove it, but maybe. And look at the group. Maybe if we can get you guys out of here, there may be a place that you may be safe at. That 3 of us come from. If you need something, we're dealing with those people that have put you down here. They will be dealt with.
Unless Elixio is dead, we're not going to be safe. And I'm not going to do anything that's going to put my boy in jeopardy.
Can you tell us more about this person?
He's one of one of the higher ups in the Three Blades, and it was his lackeys that grabbed us. And well, when we got shoved down here, he was here and gave us kind of the orientation speech, you might say. He's like you, and he kind of points to you, Pry. Got the horns and whatnot, although a different color. And he's a forked-tongued son of a bitch. And you just hear Hugh go, "Dad?" Like, oh, grow up, son.
Do you know if somebody was to take him out, maybe where he would be?
I don't know. I'd never had any dealings with him until they brought us here. The Three Blades would send someone around my shop every once in a while, shake me down and whatnot.
Is it a regular schedule when they come down here?
Well, to be fair, passing time is or keeping track of passing time is tricky. We feel like it's every fortnight that they come down, which is why we were so shocked to hear people, because it's only been a week since they were here last. We get drops every week, though, of food stuff and of, well, he kind of looks at where you came up. He's like, well, you actually came up where we have to drop more things down. That's interesting. They give us, well, it's, I don't dare ask what's actually in it, but big packages of meat that we drop down, and then we just hear those things tearing into it below.
How many?
We're not sure what they were. We were just told that was kind of like a secondary duty, is to keep those things fed for whatever reason.
Did they put those things down there?
No, they
Or
were
they've
here when we
just-
got here.
Well, maybe while we can try and find a way out for you all, we can try and help you start the forge in the meantime.
That way out has to include getting us somewhere safe and Elixio dead.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no point in me going on the run and then just finding us and killing us in our sleep. I would, as much as I
Yeah,
no,
hate
that's
being
fair,
here and
that's fair.
doing this,
Totally.
if this is what keeps my boy alive.
How many come down here when they check on you?
3, 4, maybe. All well.
We have a
armed.
town that will
It's not a lot.
offer you protection. Like I
The
said,
town
it's,
of
Aspen Hills.
Crispin Hills.
I'm
I've heard
no
of
fan
that.
of the Three Blades either.
It's a mining town, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
You could always come to my neck of the woods. We have trees that go like whoop and swoop and whoop. And there's a lot of halflings there.
I'll pass if you don't mind. And you hear the doctor speaking. He's like, I never was one for artificers. They have that convention there every year.
You wait, so do you know about the swoop and the whoop and the whip trees?
I study trees a little bit, but I don't think that those are technical terms.
Where would you want to go?
Oh, goodness. I'd like to stay here. This is my home, and I have important work to be doing here in Floros, but I suppose if I had to go somewhere else, try to get to the capital city. I know a couple other professors there.
So if Clarence is here because you owed the Blades money, why are you here, Doctor?
Why, indeed. Well, it turns out when you're a conscientious citizen, sometimes you end up putting your nose in a place where certain people don't like it being. What I thought were just sailors ripping up all the eelgrass in the shoals and damaging the ecosystem of our great shore turned out to be not just sailors, but apparently eelgrass is very valuable for certain potions and tonics, and Jon Elixio was selling it for quite a good price. And I mean, there may have been a boat that caught fire. I don't know what happened to that, but apparently they thought it was me. And yes, well, one thing led to another, and here I am.
Why aren't you in the Elven Kingdoms?
As soon as the borders opened, I made my way down here as soon as I could. This is an area that has never been explored by professors and academics in my lifetime. It's fascinating. I know all there is to know about the Elven Kingdoms.
So maybe I don't like this Lixio person. I kind of want to like kick their butt.
I think we ambush the people when they come back, take their stuff, and then we can go talk to Brobat. And then we can kill Alexio.
Aren't they going to come back in like 2 weeks?
That's
a
a
long
week,
time.
probably.
Isn't it 20 days?
I always understood a fortnight to be 2 weeks, so that's kind of
maybe that's right.
I could be wrong, but 2 weeks is the idea, and they're about.
I thought it was a video game.
Well, that too.
Perfect.
A period of 2 weeks, according to dictionary.com.
Cool.
So
We could stay here, and Malachite and Grokus can help you guys figure out the forge, maybe.
yeah, Malachite
And
has got his
and
goggles
Peony.
down, and he
What am
is
I
looking everywhere at things.
I keep
Guys,
forgetting you're
Peony.
totally an artificer.
Peony sheds a single tear.
Oh no!
Totally an artificer.
Just let me go look at the dwarvish writing, whatever. Can I see dwarvish writing, please?
The three of them can help.
Like, well, there's runes that are carved on a lot of these machines. We haven't found paperwork or anything of that nature. But yeah, you want to go look at some dwarvish runes?
Yay, let
Okay.
me read.
Yeah.
Peony's
I'm going to follow behind her and write down the things that she's saying
Okay.
in common.
Grokus and Peony, you both, being the ones who can read Dwarvish, begin kind of looking at the various machines. There aren't like big labels that say like Forge Master 3000 or anything like that.
press on here.
Right. The best you do find are little notes that are almost like safety warnings in certain places, like, you know, hands free here. You actually see a couple that say keep beard clear and whatnot. There are a couple places in some of the machines where there are large levers, and those a lot of times do have runes that are sometimes full words, sometimes single letters, but kind of equating to on off, or a couple of them. There's one that looks to have some sort of belt, like a metal linked belt, and there's a slow, medium, fast setting. So you're picking up on little bits throughout, but again, it's not like these are like labeled with big plaques or anything like that. Make an Arcana check for me, if you would.
Who? All of us, or just
Anyone who can read the writing. So Peony and Grokus could make an
Okay,
Arcana
never
check.
mind.
How's
Unless you can read Dwarvish, Artemis.
And I'm gonna tap Beanie and just give oh my gosh, what is it called?
guidance?
Guidance, yeah.
Let's get a D4 added.
Yeah. 12 for me. For the Grokus.
16, 17, 18, 19. 19 for me. for
19?
Peony.
Okay. As you're looking about and looking at some of the runes seem to be more in line with like spellcraft, and specifically where they're placed. There's a couple places where there are machines that seem to stamp down, and there's actually runes like underneath on the flat surface, almost like they would stamp runes into things. And there's a repeated set of runes that with a 19 you're not quite able to pick up their purpose, but you're noticing the same small pattern of runes on several different machines. Not certainly the same type, because there's multiple of the same machine throughout here, but even amongst several different machines you're seeing the same pattern of runes, and you're like, it doesn't mean anything like in common Dwarvish, but you think it might be some sort of magical runic.
Can Peony carve it into a thingy and see
Sure.
if something
On
happens?
it.
Yeah, what do you want to do?
We got a bunch of. Oh, were there any shields that she could that we grabbed from downstairs that she could maybe pull out and try and?
My detect magic should be going off, I think, at this point, right? If I still had it.
You did not finish ritual casting it before
Okay.
you got interrupted. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's not been done. So you can still cast it, but you'll need a spell slot. Or you could sit and ritual cast it again
Sure.
now.
I'll probably still ritual cast. I was kind of using, so yeah, I'll probably get that.
Okay. So we'll say you start that.
And mumbling prayer, sort of, prayer going.
Peony, so you've got a shield out and you're inscribing it on there?
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing it just on the wooden part, or are you trying to like etch it into the metal?
I think she's gonna try the wooden part, and if that doesn't work, then the metal.
Okay. Well, you have a couple different ones. I'm gonna say make a spellcraft check using your artificer spell casting ability. So I think that's an intelligence check.
Hello, my pretties. Which one of you will not betray me this day? You've always been pretty lucky. Yeet. Okay. 13.
A 13. So you begin carving this pattern onto. And sorry, did you say the wood or the metal portion?
Wood first.
The wood
metal.
first. The wooden
Yeah.
portion. You're going and you're carving it, and as you get to the very last bit, you feel this little bit of heat on your hand, and you pull away, and it almost looks like like it's all scratched in, except for the last part of the last rune almost looks like a wood burning tool, like carved it in. But it's not smoking or on fire or anything.
Can I hit the shield on something?
Yeah. Bong, kind of reverberates against you. Yeah. Doesn't do anything crazy.
Oh,
You should show Artemis and Malachi.
I was gonna say, yeah.
yeah.
I was going to after I got done ritual casting, I was going to talk to
Malachi
Artemis.
and Artemis. Look at this thingy.
They're the
I'll let you take
smart
this,
ones.
Artemis.
Yeah. Can I do an Arcana check on it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I'd give them guidance,
Especially with a
like
little explanation of like what sort of the translation would be for the runes, etc. Yeah.
Okay, and guidance is an extra D4?
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. So 24.
Clutch. This is a evocation spell. Specifically, it's not exactly the same one that you found in, or exactly the same type as what you found in the machine down in Grispin Hills, but it's fire adjacent. It's something with heating that you're able to pick up on. Again, it's kind of like it's an incomplete thing. It's almost like a shortcut or a shorthand version of something, and that's kind of what's making it really difficult to pinpoint. Like, it's not like a full incantation or anything like that.
Okay. I relay this to Peony, and I'm just like, this is evocation. This is fiery stuff, which I'm gonna take out of your hands, just in case.
Of the machines.
I apologize. Mistake on my end. It's not evocation, it is transmutation.
Oh, transmutation.
Transmutation. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Of the machines, you said that there's one that kind of looks like it stamps.
Mm-hmm.
Was there an on lever for that one?
There was, yes.
Just gonna slide a shield under it with a metal bit particularly underneath it.
Okay.
Careful.
On.
You throw the lever to on, and silence.
Ah!
And you just hear the little halfling boy go, "Oh yeah, I already tried that like so many times. None of the things turn on. None of them work."
Can she like try and find? Is there like some source, like a power source, or they don't have the concept of what a power source is? Are there any bitsy bobbies leading away from this thingy that maybe lead to a different bitsy bobby?
Make an investigation check.
Investigation.
All this time, just needed to
Turn it on or off again. Yay! Investigation.
While this is going on, Uranus is fully asleep in a corner somewhere. Balled up, his
starting to
clothes
get your
just-
rest.
Yeah, knocked out.
14.
Long rest.
Crocus, does this look
Very
familiar at all? Do you know if this is a thing? I only got a 14.
A 14, yeah, you're not finding, there's no cable, there's no, you do see that, like, there are, I mean, obviously there's a mechanism somewhere, which means that there's got to be internal workings of this thing, and you are able to find kind of like a couple places where there are panels that could probably be removed, but there's no, like, immediate reason for this to not be turning on. Right. So we've been down here for 2 months, and not to be short with you, but I'm imagining anything that you can think of, we've already tried. I'd be happy to be proven wrong, but we've thrown every lever, we've pulled panels off, we've looked inside. The best we can tell, there's just no power source. There's no, whether it's supposed to be magical or whatnot. I've tried stoking up a fire and getting some of the, and he kind of points all the way down the end of the hall. He's like, it's kind of laid out as best I can tell where everything down there is kind of the initials, and then you work your way towards the finished product this way. I've tried to get, the initial fires going and whatnot, and I can get something lit, but I can't get it roaring for the size of these machines.
Crocus?
Yeah, I was going to say, not that we want to turn these things on and give them to the bad people, but have we tried having Crocus pull a lever?
That's what I was thinking.
You think it's like
Maybe it takes a dwarf
Dwarven
to start
magic?
the
I can give it a try, but I agree though, I would rather not have this fall into hands that are against the balance, but yeah,
one of
give
the
it a
things
try.
that the last time they were here, they were getting really frustrated with us about not being able to turn anything on, and they kind of said, well, at least figure out what they do. And that's the thing I've been working on. I've started to identify what some of the individual machines actually serve in purpose. Some of them are very obvious, some of them are much trickier, but there's molds here and there's castings, and like, this is for building something specific. And that's what I haven't been able to figure out quite yet. What it is.
Crocus is doing the levers. Could Peony look at the molds? See if it looks like any machines that she's seen before, like the finished constructs that had come out?
Yeah. Grokus, you gonna try pulling a lever, or are you gonna stay away from that? Okay.
Yeah. So kind of gather myself, kind of take a deep breath. Has it been enough time for detect magic to happen yet, or no?
Yeah, I would say detect magic is up. What you notice, a couple of different things. The crystal lamps all the way around give off a very small glow of magic.
Was the crystal? Are they the same crystals that we saw in Crystal? I was going to ask.
They're a little more refined. They're a little more shaped and uniform, but they are the same dull orange color.
I'll point that out to Artemis. We'll go over like Artemis. Do you see those?
Yep.
Those crystals? Do they remind you of anything? I think they're the ones that we.
The crystals back at the mine.
Yeah. Except there was a lot more. I think they're more crude. Once right there, where they're just like a giant, a big amount of them, right? Okay.
Yep. You also get transmutation magic off of those. The other thing that kind of immediately sticks out to you and disappoints you is that you're not getting any magic off of any of the machines other than a little faint, almost like residual off of where those little sets of runes are. And again, transmutation. But the machines themselves are not like glowing magical. One other thing you do notice, though, is that Dr. Ulrich Enerson has something around his neck potentially that is giving a bit of a magical abjuration magic.
Keep that in mind. As I go and I'll pull the lever kind of gently, just go and kind of pull it down.
Grab it and throw the lever. You all wait in bated breath, and nothing happens.
Can't take a sigh of relief, but nothing did. Well, I said maybe this is a good thing. Maybe it just needs to be left off, you know. But most important thing, we got to make sure that you guys are okay. So I think I don't know if it's.
Grokus, are you okay? This is probably a lot.
You know, I mean, yes, it's sad, but I gotta remember my father today, my mother, so that's, it's bad, but sometimes you have to, it's good to kind of hurt, so yeah, I'm okay. Thank you.
It means you loved them, right? If you miss them when they're gone.
Grover's game to speak, just nods, kind of,
Pat.
Grover's will give a full-on hug. That's Grover's, so Grover's will give a full hug.
And Petal will wrap around for a hug too.
I did roll a investigation check just to help with some of this for Malachite. Unfortunately, that came out to just a 10. So not providing a ton of assistance in this moment.
Thanks a lot, Joe. Thanks, Joe. Can I investigate the molds you said and see if it's like?
Yeah, come with me. I'll show you what we're dealing with. So you head down, and it is dimly lit all the way down, and you see different sized machines that some of them seem to be very obviously almost like blown up versions of like tools or anvils or whatnot, like things you would see in a normal blacksmith. Some of them you have no idea what's going on. There are a couple that have like tubes that are running, like copper tubing and whatnot, and almost like big doors where things can go inside. There's a lot of variety here, and as much as you feel like you're kind of picking up some details, there's just as many things that you're like, I got no idea. But he brings you down to kind of almost the beginning of the factory line, if you will. And he starts to show you kind of like, okay, well, that's where I think they smelt everything. and then this is where they would pour everything out. But as you can see, and he points towards a massive table, like absolutely huge, probably 50 feet by 30 feet. And in it, you can see these indented molds for these large pieces. As you look at it, Peony, like these are bigger than any piece of metal that you would have ever have seen cast. These are scarily gigantic compared to any other machination you've ever seen, including all the other constructs that you would have seen in the other Dwarven mine.
Before we went down, I would definitely make sure Uranus I've seen sleep and make sure that they're okay. Because if I noticed he stayed back, I definitely would have made sure that, like, you know, leave him back there alone. So.
Down for the count.
If I cast, I mean, I know it doesn't say, like, let's take away exhaustion, but if I do enhance ability with the bear's endurance, I mean.
So that grants advantage on certain checks, and
Well, that
so
one-
it would cancel out.
yeah. Yeah, so then we'll look at this target as the advantage. So then on Constitution checks, so yeah, probably then I would, because I'll kind of nullify the exhaustion. Would that, that's the DM, would that kind of, because I mean technically since it'll be a
Yeah.
straight roll, so it kind of.
It would nullify it would even out any Constitution based checks. But there are other checks in regards to dexterity, charisma, intelligence, etc.
All right, well, I'll let them sleep then. I can't really help, but I'll make sure. Yeah, I'll stay back. I'll let them go, so I'll make sure he's not leaving someone alone. So if he needs to rest, I'll stay back.
Oh, no, you can go. I was not planning on
Oh.
following down the line.
Okay.
I'll come with you, Crocus.
Thank you.
Of course.
As you all head down the assembly line, Pry, the little boy, has kind of, stayed back a little bit, and he's sitting and leaning against a piece of machinery, and he's got like some pebbles that he's playing with, but he's just like looking at you, like really like squinty-eyed, like staring you down.
Hello. Do you like to read? Is the doctor, the elf around, or did he go down?
He's
the
gone
line?
down with everybody else.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It's just me and the squinty kid and sleeping Uranus. Okay.
Take him out. Take him out.
No.
Gosh.
Take him out. What? He's probably only got like 4 hit points.
Oh God.
The kid is why we couldn't leave Uranus alone to sleep, though. Are you suspicious of me because of this?
The Batman had horns too.
So I heard.
I've seen other people with horns come into the shop. I don't think you're all bad.
I hope not. I'm sorry that this is happening to you. It's not something that you deserve.
I'm okay. Help
Well-
Dad. I'm pretty much a grown-up.
Well, do you like to read? Because if you do, I have a book I could give you.
I can read a little bit. I don't know that I've ever read a whole book. It sounds like a
Oh.
lot of words.
It is, but the words go together to make a story, a wonderful story of adventure.
What's it about?
Well, so this one is about some younger people like yourself, who go on an adventure to try to save a world that is a little different from theirs. And they work together to achieve their goals. Kind of like you and your father are doing.
I'm good. Dad doesn't read much. I don't think grown-ups need to read that much.
Oh.
But if you were gonna... You could read it if you wanted.
And it would not bother you if I read it out loud?
You can do what you want to do.
Okay. So she'll like sit cross-legged kind of in between the kid and Uranus and pull out the platinum table and start reading.
Okay. Back over on the other side of the room.
Oh, also she does voices.
Ooh.
That's where you hook him.
Fire.
He's
Yeah,
super
exactly.
like just kind of like nonchalant, and the minute you start doing voices, it's just like full turn and like start scooting closer and closer till he's basically like cuddled up next to you, just like looking over your shoulder. And every once in a while, he like is jumping ahead, and you'll be reading, and he'll just interrupt you and be like, "What's that word?" And like on the next page, sort of thing.
If he's doing that a lot, she'll start sort of like running her finger under the words as she's reading them. Yeah.
You realize very quickly that you need to move your finger faster. He is catching it very, very quickly.
Nice.
And kind of reading ahead of you. Back at the other end, Clarence and Dr. Ulrich are kind of pointing things out that they have kind of uncovered or pieced together. And he shows you all the big mold for the large pieces. And he's like, honestly, I don't even know what type of metal they would have been using. You can see how thin it is. I don't have anything that I would use at my shop that could withstand being this large without breaking. The structural integrity of it just wouldn't hold up.
Would Peony have, in her runes, seen any kind of metal that maybe would have, like the constructs having been made of metal that would have been similar, maybe that's pieced together on her own stuff?
Not really. Like, a lot of the things that you would have seen would have been more about finished products, like not the actual like going into the like the making of things or the smelting of different metals or whatnot. So yeah, that would be almost kind of like a different primer that would be more about like the basics of blacksmithing.
Are there any more runes in here, Dwarven runes in here that she can try and read?
You see a lot of other similar type of etchings. You do see a couple other some of these like shorthand segments, and you see some that are different than the one before that you kind of were thinking was maybe some sort of heat metal. So yeah, it's there's a variety of things. It's just kind of trying to piece it all together. That's the challenge.
Can she try and carve the different rune into her into a shield or something like that?
Yeah, go ahead and carve that and roll another intelligence check.
Three.
No.
Oh boy.
You had your natural 20 for the night.
Command.
And it was still worth it.
And
It was so good.
That was wild.
I've never gotten a moment where the DM's like, yeah, sure, if you get a natural 20, sure, you could do that.
Bam.
And finally,
I don't know that I've had that happen either. That's why I didn't believe you. I was like, bull
Nice
crap.
gods.
I had my
We
Allie
got the picture.
Beardsley
We got that
moment.
picture to prove it now too.
That's legendary.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, no, you carve it in and you don't notice anything different about the shield itself.
Can I smack it?
Yeah, it kind of vibrates and
Bang,
rings
bang,
just
bang.
like normal.
Artemis, do you know what this rune does? The other ones I think were hot, and I don't know what this one is.
Goodness. All right. Can I have a look at this? Shield?
I cast guidance, like if you
Yes, please. Feel like I'm going to need it. Definitely going to need it.
Rolls today.
Okay, 19.
19. Okay. There's another sense of like, okay, I think that's the same rune as the last one that indicated transmutation. But you're not getting as many details on this one, like it's because you don't kind of have the same clues you had as last time. So you're able to pick up a little bit of it's some sort of shorthand for a transmutation spell, but it's a little different than the last one.
Still transmutation, Peony.
I'm going to, well, I may be able to help you guys and maybe figure this out. I may be able to do something, give you sort of a blessing, if you will.
Okay.
So Peony and Artemis, I mean, if you guys, so I'm gonna take out the little piece of non-needles or whatever doing, because it's going to be intelligence. So a piece of fur from a fox and kind of say a prayer and kind of just touch lightly each of them and do enhance ability, 3rd level with Fox's cunning. So advantage in all intelligence checks.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
For the next 10 minutes?
It's
1 minute.
Question. Hour, 10 minutes. Come on.
Hour,
Okay,
baby.
hour.
Baby.
All right, Peony's about to investigate.
Yep, I would say that would allow you both to make another check on those things, just because we have a new factor in play here.
I'll still do guidance.
So this would be another
advantage,
Arcana
though.
check on my
Advantage.
Yes, I believe Arcana is intelligence based.
intelligence
Yes.
based.
Oh yes, okay.
Yeah, any intelligence based checks, not just intelligence
gotcha.
checks.
Yeah.
Plus guidance?
Yes, I'll still.
Is
how many
enhance
people-
ability?
I can do
Sorry,
two
how many
people.
people can you hit? You can do 2? Okay, because I was going to
With
say
enhance
you could do
ability,
more-
it's doing third level enhance ability. So
Because I was going to say you
Is
could hit
enhance
Malachite with that as
ability-
well.
oh yeah, was he here with us? Oh
You
shit.
are-
Yeah, Malachite's with
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yes.
Is it enhance ability concentration? Because I thought guidance was also concentration.
Maybe you're right. So never mind. So no. Well,
I think guidance
yeah.
is
Enhance
concentration.
ability.
Yeah, guidance. is
Yeah,
also
Oh, it
yeah,
is.
so no
Yeah,
guidance,
okay.
no guidance,
Okay.
no port.
Okay,
Disadvantage. Good catch.
so 18 then.
18 for you.
Nine.
No guidance.
19.
19. And were you able to get a third person with that? Or
No,
only
I think I'm going to do 2 people right now at this level. It's just 2
Okay.
people.
Dang.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, putting your heads together and getting a little bit of higher rolls between you. I mean, you're realizing, yes, it's a transmutation spell. You look at it a little bit more and you start comparing to some other notes, and you have Peony kind of translate a couple things from her journal of different things that she's seen. There's an element, there's a mixing of spells here. There's an element of abjuration as well. So changing and protecting.
Would any connect to the spell that we took? Because we took a spell off when I was a creature. Or not a creature with the other machine. Because we did get a spell from...
Yeah, the spell you got out of the other machine was an evocation
Ray.
spell. It was Scorching Ray.
Mhm.
Yep.
The machine that we just saw.
Oh no, that
the
was
one from
No.
Crispin
Oh, from
Hills.
Crispin
Yeah.
Hills.
Crispin Hills, yeah.
Watch Crispin
So-
Hills.
What? This is your cue to go watch Crispin Hills right now.
Pause
well, not
right
right
now.
now.
Pause it and go
Pause
on.
it and come back.
This
So
is
then-
this is the canon chronological viewing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Star Wars.
Yes.
Spoiler alert, they all lived.
Yeah.
So we're
I don't know
seeing
that. Maybe they
things-
died and got brought back.
Didn't he just say? Didn't? Oh God, what was his name? It's not Hugh. It's
Was
Clarence?
the kid.
Clarence. Yes, the father. Didn't he just say that like there's no metal that he knows that would work this good without breaking, like that stretch this big? So then if this is like a protection, like abjuration, is it reinforcing that metal and making it stronger as it's molding it
Valid question.
and using heat metal to like reshape it? Make it stronger? Just following down this train. What does the last machine in this little...
Yeah, I mean, all the way down, you get into the actual furnaces and where you would smelt metal. down to be able to pour it out. As you look at the molds, like you obviously see some of these big ones. It's not just that one singular part. Like there are, as you look, side to side and up and down across several of these tables, there's dozens of different part sizes. Some of them ranging down to small gear work and whatnot. But you do see almost like sets of these big, long, curved metal pieces. There's like a whole set that curve a certain way, and then another set that curve another way with like different indentations to make them like almost like bend in different directions. It's an interesting, like this room is set up to build a specific thing, and all the parts are kind of almost laid out here.
Really big thing.
Where does the end, and that's where the machine chain ends, is this like the curving bits?
No, that's more towards the beginning, right? Because you'd have to pour out.
Could I go the other way? Could Peony go the other way to see what the last machine looks like?
Yeah, so back the way you came, because where you came in, you started at what would essentially be the end of the line.
Oh,
okay.
Now work your way back to the beginning.
Yeah, I'd love to start at the end of the line as opposed to the beginning.
Yeah, at the end of the line is the vice tables, where there's almost like all these vices set up all the way down that can be set at various places.
Can she try moving the vices into place?
Yeah, so each one it's like a big block that then has a large screw that comes out of it and goes into the table. And so they kind of like in and out. So you kind of grab one and try to pull it or whatnot. It's like it's not going to move of its own accord. It needs something to turn the screw.
Is there a screw that she could like jimmy?
Not that you see just there. And I mean, these things are yay thick each.
I'm wondering if we can't get metal. Anyone freeze water?
I can freeze water.
Because if we can get enough... Because I'm wondering if we can get a flow here and then freeze it. If it'll then be able to pull out the shape that we can look at a little bit more. Because the metal, when it's molten metal is flowing and it's like flowing into these channels, then it wouldn't act that dissimilarly to water. I guess the issue is that these, and she's like jimmying the thing, is like, these I don't think are gonna move unless we get the machine at least to move. So maybe if we get this, maybe if we could just trick this one machine to move. Can Peony investigate around it with Artemis maybe to see if there's any gaps and things in it that we can like...
On the vice table?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can investigate a little more to see if you can figure out how to make it work.
Brooks will kind of laugh, be like,
advantage.
My father was right.
Advantage?
Should have been paying attention.
Advantage.
Yeah, advantage. Yeah, so intelligence base advantage.
23.
My investigation still lasts. Dirty 20.
Okay.
Hey.
Those are very good. As you're looking about, you see... so you're starting to really feel like, yes, there are almost like stations along the way. Because everywhere that there's a vice section, and they're probably maybe 1.5 foot long blocks on either side, if you actually drop your eye down and look at the side of the table, which, I mean, when I say table, it's almost like an altar block or something, like goes all the way to the floor. There are these circular cuts, like right there, kind of all the way along. They're flush right now with the rest of the side of the table, but there's like a circular cutout where potentially something could pull out or push in, kind of stationed all the way along. And you grab one of them and give it as much you can, and you feel like it's not moving, but there's play, right? Like you can sort of get your finger in there and cause it to twist just a little bit, but it feels like there's something locking it in place.
Could I Tinker's tools fidget with it, perhaps?
Yeah, you could try. Go and roll. Do you have proficiency with Tinker's tools?
I do.
Okay, go ahead and roll dexterity plus proficiency bonus.
Dirty 20.
20. Okay. You get your tools in there and feel about and kind of find some catches in the mechanism. With a 20, you're able to release a little bit of a catch that's like deep in there, and you're like it's pretty deep in. Like you've got your tool in there, and even your finger ever so slightly in that gap before it grabs and clicks. But all of a sudden, like you feel because your hand was up against it, you feel the stone circle push in just a little bit. You pull out and you kind of give it a push, and it inserts probably about 3 to 4 inches. And as it does, you look in, and there are grooves that are cut kind of like inside. So there's almost like different layers and levels where like it's the first 2 inches is flat, and then past that you see a seam, and there's like these grooves cut in. Just knowing what you know about mechanics and whatnot, like probably something could be inserted into here and then turned. So it's almost like you like undid the lock that allowed you to shove something in and turn.
Artemis, could you make water and freeze it in this shape here?
I think I could. Would Ray of Frost be good enough to do that?
You're muted.
You're muted.
Uh,
You're
Oh, you're
muted.
muted.
Uh-oh.
Click the wrong button. No, now I'm too close. Chaos. It's chaos. Hold on. Go back. Go back.
Bring back the beat.
There we go. Okay. Yeah,
Oh,
right.
God.
Oh gosh.
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle.
There we go. I'm sorry, Darby. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
These
Just
are
feeling
fine.
silenced right now.
Ray of Frost would potentially freeze water, but I mean, it's not. It's not a terribly precise tool in that regard.
yeah. I don't think so.
Well, maybe it's a sign that that it just needs to be left alone. I mean, I'm not saying I don't want it to work, but maybe it's for the best right now that it doesn't. You know what I mean?
Maybe at least this is enough for you all to point to them and be like, look, we did this thing, and they'll leave you alone for another 2
Oh,
weeks.
we'll certainly be taking credit for this. No offense.
Yeah, I mean, you should.
Absolutely.
It's fine.
We should.
I mean,
That's fine.
the thing that I've been trying to, because I'm not a mechanic or a blacksmith or whatnot, but the thing that I've been trying to apply my knowledge to is this idea that, like, this room is theoretically, if it's working properly, a living organism of sorts, right? We have different things that do different necessities to create something, much like our own bodies would produce energy or waste or whatnot via parts working together. But all of that needs a heart. All of it needs a fuel, food, if you will. And if we can't get a fire going, that seems to be the biggest hurdle right there of what were they doing to feed this beast? And that's what we can't figure out.
Do you know where the heart is supposed to be?
Well, not to be poetic or anything, but the heart of any blacksmith is his furnace. But like I
Do you know
said,
where the furnace
I've built a roaring fire in that thing. It's down there. There's one central furnace at the end, and I've built a roaring fire there, and I've not been able to get it to do anything.
Don't remember
Right.
anything about the furnaces. Don't remember anything particular about the furnace
I
in
wonder if
general.
it's
History check.
Magical fire.
or the crystals, maybe.
Maybe the crystals.
Maybe it's like a
That's what I was
base.
thinking.
Can
Yeah.
we?
Because in a
Speaking
lot
of-
of crystals, a lot of places. That's a lot of places.
Wow.
Whoa, hey.
No regard for that table, Blake has.
Yeah.
No regard for it.
No,
Screw that table! Boom!
Gonna give me that good roll. Come on. It's only 10.
Good
Nope.
rolls, dude.
Nope. And honestly, like there's an element of like your emotions and your memory and your brain is a little like, okay,
Pride.
I'm a little fried. Like I got a little bit from the recess of my memory, and it's hard to stay in that place.
Can you investigate the furnace? Like, I know that they've been trying to burn things in there, but anything else maybe residual left in the furnace?
Yeah, go
But
ahead and
maybe-
make an investigation check. As you go up to it, it is a large unit that is probably 15 feet, 20 feet wide, built into the wall with big tubing coming off of it, and kind of disappearing into the walls. It is, whereas everything else in this room, there's 2, 3, 4 copies of the same machine and table. There's one central furnace.
16.
16.
19.
19. Okay. As you look at it, and as Clarence kind of opens up some of the doors and shows you and whatnot, you see the residual kind of ash from what he had been burning in it and whatnot. The thing that catches your eye, particularly Artemis, just because you've had experience with this, is the plates of metal inside that have runes carved on them. Now you all see this, and Clarence even says, might be some magical enhancement going on, but again, I don't speak Dwarvish. But this looks very similar to the metal plating that was inside the construct.
What does it read? Because I can read it when he says that.
Yeah.
And would Malachi be rolling too? I mean, I assume he'd be investigating as well.
Let's have Malachi roll an investigation check real quick.
Come on, Joe.
That's 25.
Oh,
Okay.
Pulling your weight.
Bruh.
Not even here, and he's pulling his weight. So Malachi kind of comes up behind and is looking at everything, and again, he needs a translation, but just kind of piecing together the puzzle pieces. He's like, if there's this much, because there's lots of these plates, and he's like, if there's this much magical enhancement to the flames, then it stands to reason that whatever these machines are, either by their nature of being magical or the size of them. Sorry, tickle in my throat. Trying to do a Joe voice, it gets me. Yeah. It wouldn't be able to be powered without some sort of enhancement. We need some way to activate the spells.
So it needs to be activated. Okay, I mean,
Maybe verbal? If anyone hasn't spoken Dwarvish in however long it's been.
I'll start
Let's
reading
get
off
out of
the.
Yeah.
I'll back up. I'll start reading. Just start reading them. Just kind of absent-minded. Just read what I'm saying.
As you start to do that and take a moment to read, we're gonna pop back to the other end of the room where Pry, how long do you go reading your book?
The next book.
Until the kid falls asleep or gets bored and leaves or whatever. Until a monster
Neither of
attacks.
those
I
things
don't
have
know.
happened yet.
Okay.
He is wide awake.
Continue.
Yeah. And eventually he does stop you at one point and it's just like, so when did this happen?
Oh, as far as I know, this is just a story someone made up in their imagination.
I thought books were all about like real things. Like my dad had some books all about how to blacksmith.
Sure, there are lots of books that are about real things. I like to read those too. But the books that I put in my backpack, and she sort of like nudges it, there's like 3 or 4 in there. The ones that I put in my backpack are all adventure stories made up in people's imaginations, but they inspired me to come out in the world and see if I could do good to help other people. So
wow. I never thought about what I want to do. I guess I always thought I'd just be like my dad.
I mean, he seems like a very nice person. So that's probably not a bad idea, but there are all kinds of possibilities out there for you.
It'd be okay to be like my dad. He helps a lot of people. Can be kind of grumpy sometimes. But sometimes I don't, hold the tongs the way I'm supposed to or whatnot, so. Okay. He kind of thinks for a minute. Are you a good secret keeper?
Oh, yes. I am very good at keeping secrets.
Do you know any secret promise handshakes?
Oh, gosh. Yes. What is your preferred promise secret handshake?
Kind of sticks his tiny, tiny little halfling boy hand out to you, and you engulf it. And you just feel his thumb wiggling. You kind of let the thumb pop out, and he kind of does this thing where you touch thumbs and wiggle them together.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're keeping my secret, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a book too.
Really?
I didn't tell my dad yet. I should have told him, but it was really cool, and I really wanted to try to learn what was in it first.
What is it about?
I don't know. I can't read it.
Oh.
I
Where
don't
did
know
you
what
get
any
it?
of the letters are.
Oh. Is it not in this language?
No, it's all
The
different.
letters don't...
No, it looks more like
Oh.
everything over there. He points towards the machines.
Oh. Uh, where did you find it?
There's some other rooms off of this, and found it in one of those.
Oh.
Well, it's not where I sleep. It's where Dr. Anderson sleeps.
Oh, interesting. Are there pictures in your book or just words? Or letters?
It's mostly just just letters. I think there may have been a drawing or two, but it's almost all just letters, which kind of makes it boring, but also I don't know, it's really nicely made. It's got really good designs on it.
It sounds like a puzzle. I can speak one or two other languages besides this one. Could I maybe look at it? Perhaps we can figure out the puzzle together.
Yeah, but we gotta keep it a secret.
Okay.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay. Follow me. And he gets up and he ducks real low and is hiding behind machines and whatnot, and kind of going, and he leads you maybe 3 or 4 rows deep where there's a door on the side, and carefully kind of opens it up. He's like, it's through here. And he disappears into a side room.
I will follow him and shut the door quietly behind us.
Okay.
He's a
Back
demon.
at the furnace.
Probably.
Gonna wake up by himself.
Goodbye.
He pulls out a knife. He's like,
It's been nice knowing y'all.
"What time is complete?" Or
Hey, we
something. I
talked
don't know how to
about your
do French
backup
accents.
character, Cheryl, so...
I know
just
we
wanted-
did.
Lord.
It's ready to go.
Don't say that.
Back at the furnace, Grokus, you are reading and kind of absentmindedly translating as you go along. It's not a spell that is, and again, kind of similar to the last time where, it wasn't a particular, humanoid-based spell per se, but it was close enough that you could kind of figure it out. As he's reading Artemis, you're kind of being like, oh, okay, so this is really similar to Burning Hands. More specifically, amplifying a cone of fire, just creating a torrential blast of fire that goes along. But with this number of them and with a furnace this size, you can only imagine the inferno that would cause if this all got amplified through a central source similar to what the construct had before. Certainly potentially enough to power a room of this size.
Oh my goodness.
Is that a sort of spell? What I was reading off, was that a?
It was a spell. I wonder if there like a central like column I could cast like firebolt into, or
Kind of like a duct that would go out.
yes, yeah, like that
yeah.
would branch into, yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple large ones up top. I mean, they kind of split off left and right. But you could fire a firebolt up one of those.
Okay, I'm gonna cast firebolt into one of those.
Okay.
19.
A 19. Yep. So you conjure and send a firebolt, which is a cantrip, correct?
It is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
The firebolt goes out, and you hear it kind of whoosh down the piping a ways, and then you'll not really like turn a corner, but you kind of see it hit an area where there would be like a curve, and some of the fire continues, but then you kind of just hear it fizzle out. Maybe not quite enough juice to make it all the way down.
I
How big?
cast. Oh, go ahead.
How big's the pipe?
Maybe like maybe like 1.5 feet, 2 feet in diameter.
Oh God.
How wide is Peony?
Yeah, maybe.
Or does Peony have a familiar?
That's what I'm Peony and Petal just shimmy down the pipes a little ways, and
Okay, they're at the top of the furnace, so getting up, you got to get up there. You got to like step in and then get up, and it's not an easy climb, but yeah.
Maybe not getting that furnace. So I mean, do I see Peony trying to like it's being like a test?
you see Peony's looking at the pipes
The wheels are
and
turning.
just like there's like a head cock this way and then a head cock that way, and then
I just put a firm hand on her shoulder and just be like, "Don't."
I just put together what it would be like if I successfully started it and I was still in the pipe.
No, it's not.
It seems like a bad idea, right? Right? That's what we were all thinking. That's definitely what I was thinking. No worries. Absolutely. Where's the doctor?
He is with you all. He's kind of standing and watching everything and kind of doing that thing where he's like trying to look helpful and important, but this is not his thing. Like he doesn't know what's going on.
Do you know any magic?
No, only the magic of science.
Science is magic?
Type of magic, isn't it?
That was specifically for Cheryl. It's like, yes, it is magical, but in this moment, I don't think it's really going to help us. I've had 2 months of this. I haven't figured anything out.
Go, instinct chicken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was literally going to say the same thing. I don't
For
like.
no reason in particular.
For no reason in particular.
I don't like the
Fun check.
And that amulet, you said aberration. You said like
Abjuration.
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 Yeah.
14.
24.
Okay. While a little, I'm not going to say stuck up. Like, he hasn't been condescending to anyone. He's just kind of conducted himself with an air of, like, these are not the circles I run in. This is not what I do. I want to be important, but, I'm kind of running up against that whole, like, I'm usually the smartest guy in the room, and I'm not right now, and that's frustrating me. Like, you're getting a lot of that, but you're not getting the sense that he's lying to you. He seems to be honest, just kind of out of his element. And
Sounds good.
frustrated.
Miss, what if you tried the spell that we learned for the thing that I think Scorching Ray, I think you called it. What if we tried that on it? I don't know if that would do anything, but
I could certainly try, yeah. All right, I'm going to. I mean, I don't have Scorching right here, but I'm going to. I have was it a scroll that I had?
Well, you learned it and you added it to your repertoire, so you would have had to have chosen it this morning.
Oh,
So you'd have to have it prepared.
I don't have it prepared. I do have Burning Hands prepared, though.
If that's the same, is that what that kind of still is? I mean, I guess you can.
Ray would just be stronger, I would think.
I would think so, yeah.
We can try. I mean, if you have burning hands, I mean, maybe that kind of mimics it. I mean,
I can give it a shot. I'm gonna cast Burning Hands.
Okay, at what level?
Why not? Third level.
Third level. Okay.
Yeah.
You kind of go up to where the pipe opening is, and you prepare, and you send third level burning hands out. And you all watch as kind of the light of the fire dances off of the metallic surfaces inside, and kind of both lights and silhouettes Artemis kind of simultaneously, depending on how it flows, as she just sends a torrential inferno down the pipe. And after a moment, you hear Clarence go, "Oh, gods above!" And you all turn around, and the first machine, which is one of these ones that you had a hard time understanding exactly what it does. It's a lot of gears, a lot of levers, not a very clean idea of like what is actually happening inside. You see all of a sudden as it turns.
I say a prayer to enter. I grab that thing and say a prayer to enter as it's happening.
It is
He
loud.
needs like scribbling notes. Like
It is loud and deafening, and this is just one machine out of dozens. As the gears turn and the levers begin to pump and move, and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4 halfway, and settles.
not enough juice, but Petey saw. Could she have gotten a better idea of what the machine does now that she saw it in motion?
Go ahead and make an investigation check. Or no. You're observing this and trying to extrapolate. No, I'll let you have an investigation on that. Yeah.
And I don't think it's been an hour either. So
it wouldn't possibly be perception, would it?
You could perceive, but perceive is going to get you something a little different. You're going to be looking to see, like, can I see anything happening versus can I piece together what I'm seeing.
Let's try and piece together what we're seeing.
Okay.
I'd like to understood. Well, I mean, one of them's a 1, and I get to ignore ones and re-roll.
You do, yeah. So you can re-roll that.
Yay!
Yay!
Okay, 16 and 14 is 17.
A 17.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movement going on here, and at one point you saw almost like something shift inside, like left to right. Might be something that, like, obviously it also is at the beginning of the process. So it might be something that's like doing some initial breakdown of materials.
Can Malachite roll 2?
Oh, that's right. I always gotta remember that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Malachite can roll 2, but he does not have. Oh no, that's Arcana. We need investigation. They're the same. He got a 15. So not really any more information than that.
Well, it's not moving now, right? It's
stopped.
Moving.
Yeah.
Can she stick her face in to see what that thing that shifted?
Yeah, it starts moving again.
It's not moving.
This is why OSHA is a thing.
And this is when you see like a watermelon. You just cut across and it's like a watermelon like exploding.
Yep. You look inside and are kind of what you're seeing, for lack of a better term, is some sort of conveyor belt where you like look and see like, oh, okay, there's an area to feed something in over there, and then it all gets pulled down, and then you look up and about, and there are these elements that are almost like bricks that have like rounded corners, but then they have spikes all over them, and the spikes are slightly dulled at the end, and they're kind of like, you know, set in such a way, and you look at the pistons where like they would come down like this, and you're kind of getting an idea that like raw materials could be fed into here and then just
scrubbed,
pummeled into pieces before moving on to whatever the next thing is.
Were there any rooms here that like, or do you know what the primary mining thing that they mined out of here might have been? ores?
Well, we know that they're finding diamonds everywhere.
Hey, yo, anyone got a diamond?
We can get one. I mean, we got a couple. I think Aronis has them.
Is this a diamond refinery?
I don't see how that makes a lot of sense considering all the molds for the large parts, unless that's just one part of it. I mean, it could be various
what else did
ores,
they-
could be just, kind of sourced materials that they would throw in here and break apart.
Does it short? Okay. What other rooms are around here?
Rooms or
Are there any?
rooms?
There's no like rooms.
Well, there's some offshoot rooms. There's some sleeping quarters and what I would imagine what might have been offices or whatnot. There's various places.
Offices?
Well, they're small
Anything with
rooms without
papers?
beds. There's no, we haven't found any papers or anything.
Books? No books.
No, not a single book to
Well-
be found. Speaking of which, heading back over to Pry and Hugh,
Oh boy.
he brings you into a small room that there are like straw mats that are thrown on the floor. It's very bare. The shelving in the room is inset into the wall, as opposed to like, attached shelving. But even then, there's hardly anything on it. But you see two of these straw mats that are thrown down, and he's kind of like, yeah, this is where me and my dad sleep. Sorry about the smell. It's been a while that we've been down here.
Okay.
But yeah, here, let me show you. And he runs over to one of the mats and reaches under it and pulls out this book that's probably like 1.5 inches thick, and perfectly square in its shape from the front. It has metal etching and banding all the way around, and a broken lock that would hold it shut. But you see a dwarven rune that is stamped on the leather of the cover.
Oh,
This is-
But like you said, it's just like the lock is broken, so it's openable.
Lock is broken. He's
Yeah.
like opens up. Like, it was broken when I found it. I promise.
I believe you. And you said you found this where?
Oh, one of the other rooms. I was kind of looking about, and I shouldn't have been in there. It's Dr. Anderson's room. But I found it. Like, there's a place where the wall, like, there was a piece of stone that was loose, and I got curious and moved it and found this behind there.
Oh, well, it sounds like you are gaining the same skill set I have. Was there anything else behind that stone?
I didn't see anything, no. But I kind of grabbed this and ran. So I
Okay.
didn't get caught.
Did caught by the doctor?
Well, I'm not supposed to be in his room. It's not polite.
That's true. But this is not one of the languages I speak, but you are right. It does look like the alphabet on all the machines out there.
What's
I
an
wonder,
alphabet?
all of the individual letters.
They're all called alphabet?
When they are all together, yes.
Thought they were words.
When they are in small groups, they are words. Yes.
Reading's confusing.
A little bit, yes. But I wonder if this language is the same as that language. Do you think this could be something that might help your father?
Maybe. I just don't want to get in trouble.
Why do you think you would get in trouble?
Well, because he's going to ask me where I got it, and I'm going to have to tell him I got it from Dr. Anderson's room when I shouldn't have been in there.
Do you have to say you got it from his room?
Well, if
You
he
could-
asks me,
I mean, you could say you found it under a loose stone somewhere else.
isn't that lying?
It is. But is it causing any harm?
He like looks really conflicted, and it's all on the face, right? There's no hiding it. He's just like,
Yeah. Is it going to hurt anyone?
No,
But could it help someone?
maybe.
It is up to you. You can keep it a secret, you can tell the lie, or you can tell the truth. It is up to you. It is your book. I am just providing options.
Okay. Oh boy, I don't like decisions.
Relatable.
He like
Sounds like
he's
a
starting
true
to like
bisexual.
tear up a little bit, like he's getting really like worked up by this.
I mean, if it is a problem, then you do not have to tell anyone, and I will keep your secret.
Yeah, we did the secret handshake. Do you think it could help get us out of here?
Sorry, you broke up. What did you say?
Do you think it could help get us out of here?
I don't know. I am not entirely sure what everyone's plan is. I would very much like to get you out of here and someplace safer. But this could be an important piece of information to help them make that decision.
What if you say you found it and you tell the lie?
I could do that.
He holds the book up for you.
I take it.
Okay.
Okay.
He like runs out.
I'll sort of like trot after him, looking like putting on a little performance of being excited, like, oh, look at this thing that we're running out to tell you we found. Yeah.
Pry, as you and Hugh exit the room and begin heading back towards the group. You're running that direction, and you see them all kind of congregated down at the very end where you see this large forge furnace. This whole place is a forge. This large furnace that they're all congregated about. The doors open. Some of them are inside looking about and whatnot as you come up on them. But back at the other end of the room, Uranus, as you are having yourself a little nap, you kind of stir at one point and just, it's a crick in your neck. It's a hard floor and whatnot. And you kind of open your eyes ever so briefly. And it's that kind of like half awake, half asleep, very foggy kind of vision or whatnot. And you see kind of all the way down, you see everybody there. And, it's very dim light, but you can kind of make out, okay, yeah, there's Pride and the new people and Peony and Malachite and Artemis and Crocus, and yeah, everybody's down there. And then a foot steps into view just outside your peripheral. And then a second one. And it stands there, and you kind of tilt your head up a little bit and look up. And you see Pry again. Standing there, looking down at everybody. And then all of a sudden her head whips down and looks right at you. But the eyes that are normally white and milky are completely black, dripping some sort of black maroon blood out of them. And the mouth is completely gone and smooth, and yet somehow still smiles right at you. And you blink, and she's gone.
Oh, what the fuck?
And you fall back asleep.
What? Okay. What is that?
What is happening?
And I'm just back asleep.
And you're just back asleep. Getting that ever needed long rest. So back at the furnace.
Oh, I was just saying, I see Pride coming up, so like, oh.
What's going on?
So he was just showing me all of the side rooms, and I noticed this one stone in the hallway that just looked a little off, and it was loose, and behind it, we found this book.
Book?
Crocus?
I guess you get closer, Grogus has some bad eyesight. So hold on a second. What does it say? I'm like,
See a stamped, yeah, you see a stamped rune in the middle that would kind of be the equivalent of just the word journal. Sort of like
It's someone's freaking diary.
you go to
Sorry,
Barnes
I'm
and
not
Noble and just get like, you know, one of those books that say journal
Journals.
on them. Yeah.
Do you mind if
Go for it. I cannot read it.
I'll take it and kind of very carefully, gently, kind of go through it a little bit, just kind of.
Clarence kind of looks down at Hugh and is like, "Where'd you say you found it?" And he like locks eyes with you real quick, Pride, like really scared.
There was a loose stone in the hallway.
Huh? I never noticed that before. Good looking out.
There are a lot of stones.
There
How's
are.
the doc? How's the good doc looking?
Yeah.
He
Solid.
yeah, make an insight check.
You weren't supposed to find that.
Oh,
I can reroll ones.
Wow.
I can fucking ignore ones. Feast or famine. 23?
23. He has come over and is kind of peering over the shoulder and looks just as excited as the rest of you.
Sick. He didn't know it was there.
You get to
Or he's really
It's so
good.
suspicious
really
of the
good at
poor
hiding it.
biologist.
Listen.
Grokus, you begin flipping through it. And right at the beginning, you see kind of the very first page just scrolled, the journal of Forge Master Coalheart.
So it's,
You begin flipping through and you just see standard entries that date back, like it's almost full all the way through. The entries are written in very small handwriting so that several fit on a page. It's very hard to read, especially in the dim light, but you're making it out, and it's pretty boilerplate stuff.
Wow.
It's it's accounts of the day and different machines that came in, and sometimes it gets a little more personal and talks about family members of his and whatnot. As you flip farther and farther in, though, you see a place where all of a sudden, instead of like full pages, you see one page that's just a single entry in the middle of the page. And it
Barred
just says,
the doors. They're trying to come in. There's no escape.
and you just see written, "Herein I will give my last will and testament. Should anyone come after, let this be a record of what happened to the dwarves." And that's where we're going to end
Almost dropped the
tonight.
bug.
Don't you do it!
Oh.
Oh!
I knew it.
No. I knew it as soon as the words "last will and
Oh my
testament"
God.
came out of your mouth. that you
I'm
would
about to
end this
cast one too. I was about to cast a spell too. I was going
Yeah.
to. Okay, I'll cast it next time. But I'm gonna cast something. If I it's when we're
Give
writing.
me
I have an idea
more
what I'm
now.
gonna cast.
Moral of the story is always make friends with the kid and
Oh my
peasants.
god. No, I'm not ready.
Now you have a week to
Oh,
get
man.
ready.
It's COVID. COVID took it out. Just getting too soon.
Oh,
No, it's not a joke. I do apologize, but I think just like some it was a joke. So
Oh boy.
apologies. No, it's a serious thing. It's a joke.
oh no.
All right.
Oh my god.
I
Well,
didn't get murdered.
yeah, no one got murdered.
I was literally
It's a
about to
good
cast
day.
a spell too. You came just in time. I was literally about to cast a spell for my last had an idea that I was gonna do. So,
Uh-oh.
but now this makes it better though.
Yay.
So
Yep. We'll get to that at the start of next session. But yes, we will see what Forge Master Coalheart had to say in his last words. Thank you everybody for watching and joining us on tonight's episode, where we got to meet some new friends and do some investigation and test the limits of my knowledge of how magical forges might work. But
Great
it was
job.
super fun.
Mhm.
And I'm excited to see where this goes. So make sure
my
to follow
gosh.
all of us and follow the show on all the socials, and we'll see you next time on the first watch.